Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today we have to talk about lecture 41, formation of INC. INC stands for Indian National Congress, safety wall theory. And we have to talk about safety wall theory, which prominent Indian nationalist leader believed in safety wall theory. That is also important. Moderate phase from 1885 to 1905. In between, we'll also solve some PYQs, which are actually important from, like there will be some very complicated kind of PYQs also, because that will actually happen in exam as well. It's not like 100 questions which they will be asking you, all questions will be known to you. So there will be some dicey PYQs. So we'll be having a look at all those dicey PYQs as well. Just give me a second, sir and ma'am. Okay, so let's start the discussion without wasting any more time. Formation of Indian National Congress. We have talked about 12 most important organization before INC, Indian National Congress. Do have a look at those important INCs. They are actually in, like, as the name suggests, they are very important. And okay, let me focus a bit here. And then INC came, and again, please understand one thing. There are certain organization, Indian Association formed by where Surendranath Banerjee sir is involved along with Anand Mohan Bose. So all these previous organization, or some of these previous organization rather, will play a role in the formation of Indian National Congress. Fine. So before we talk more about Indian National Congress, before we talk more about safety wall theory, before we talk more about moderate phase, their achievement, the achievements of moderate phase, their limitation, 3 Ps, prayer, petition, protest, all these things we'll talk about, and certain questions associated with them. Before we do all these things, let's solve one particular question based on what we have read earlier. And today, whatever questions you will witness, and we'll read some theory and then we'll solve some PYQs. So whatever questions you will witness, most of these, if not all, will be PYQs. So first question in front of you: who among the following were associated with the introduction of Rayotwadi settlement in India during the British rule? 2017. First is Lord Cornwallis, second is Alexander Reed, third is Thomas Munro. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A1 only, B1 and 3 only, C2 and 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. And good evening, Kritika. And why I'm stating the options? Because sometimes there are people who are Divyang who also watch my videos or hear my videos, and I'm very indebted to them that they do that. Okay, so what is the answer of this particular question? Who were associated with Rayotwadi or introduction of Rayotwadi settlement in during the British rule? Again, these kind of questions can be tricky. Today, whatever PYQs you will witness in between sessions at the starting as well as at the end, you can find them a little bit complicated. So we have talked about all these guys. We have talked about Rayotwadi settlement, where we have talked about when we have discussed, peasant movement, tribal movements. So Lord Cornwallis, he is associated with permanent settlement. If you eliminate him, you will get the option that is 2 and 3. And that's how you deduce answer C, 2 and 3. Tricky question. Let's solve this particular question asked in 2013. The demand for the Tibhagga peasant movement in Bengal was for A. Reduction of the share of the landlords from 1/2 of the crop to 1/3. B. Grant of ownership of land to peasants as they were the actual cultivators of the land. C. The uprooting of zamindari system and the end of serfdom. D. Writing off all peasant debts. So what according to you is the answer? So Tibhagga movement, what we have discussed earlier, that here in Tibhagga movement, what happened? Earlier, there was 50-50 sharing of, like, the produce. 50% will be shared with the actual owner of the land and 50% will be taken by the tenant or the cultivator. Now, these tenants or cultivators who are working, they're also known as adhyadas. They want it to, like, they don't want their share just to be confined to 50%. They want it to be increased to 2/3, that is 66.66666667%. And they want the share of landlords to reduce from 1/2 to 1/3. That is, A is the answer. So do remember these things. These are small but important points which you have to keep in mind. Questions has already been asked on it. Now, let's talk about Indian National Congress. And this is unlike the 12 most important organization which we have seen before INC. Most of them, if not all, were localized in nature. Now, this is an example, a prominent example of nationalism in India. Formation of Indian National Congress. And here, whatever points you will see, factors promoting the growth of nationalism, all these points, hi Vastaram, all these points you can use it in, like, they can give you these points and they can ask you which among the following points is or are correct. Or in mains, you can use it for fodder. Like these kind of questions have been asked a lot. So here also the pestle analysis will help you a lot. Political, economic, social, technological, anthropological, legal dimensions. So there are different factors which will promote, the train of wealth theory, political unity. So Britishers, they have lots of disadvantages associated with them. When we talk about British rule in India, we talk about drain of wealth, we talk about how they impoverished. Okay, so impoverished, again, that is very tongue twister kind of a word. Our handicraft sector, textile sector, all these things we talk about. Generally we see British rule in India as in negative sense. We were one of the richest country, became one of the poorest country. One good thing which happened was political unity. Political unity means they united us. There was uniform administrative system, and that played a crucial role in exchange of ideas, communication, and all these stuff. They brought railways, telegraph, postal system. All these things also helped in transmission of information from one place to another, and that is what they are writing here. They united us. Development of communication and technology brought us closer to each other, and then we were able to ask these kind of questions. That, bro, what is happening and how are you? And they're like, in UP, again, this whole meme makes more sense in Hindi, but hope you can understand. People are interacting with each other, people are knowing about each other's condition, and all these things will facilitate in the growth of nationalism and will therefore play a crucial role in the formation of Indian National Congress. Okay, so Charita is also here. So fact, again, English education, Western English language, Western education. See, when you will read about something called as globalization, and like that is there in GS paper 1 mains. So in globalization, you will talk about how globalization is integration of different countries of the world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, blah, blah, blah. There are three major aspects associated with globalization also: homogenization, hybridization, and revival of culture. Homogenization means what? That because of globalization, what has happened? This English or this United Kingdom or England, they colonized a lot of countries. They introduced this language called English, and that also united us. If you talk about globally, that happened at the regional level also. English language and Western education united us, and that is what is written here. Role of the press. Please remember some of the press which we have talked about earlier, like Amrita Bazar Patrika, Bengali Journal introduced by Surendranath Banerjee. Hello Mohit. So all these things are important, and when you will read all these things from mains perspective, later on you will realize that this press, these newspapers which we have discussed earlier, Amrita Bazar Patrika, Bengali. If you know who were associated with the publication of Amrita Bazar Patrika, Bengali, you can post it in the comment section. So later on there was a question which was asked in mains that these newspapers became viewspaper because they brought people closer. Let's say there is a vernacular newspaper, so they will be spreading the thoughts in that vernacular medium. People will be coming closer. They will be knowing about the economic exploitation of the British rule, blah, 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 blah. All these things we can understand. We have already talked about all these things in briefer detail earlier also. So you can understand these things. There's nothing new here. This will help you in revising the earlier stuff. Socio-religious reform movement made us proud of our culture when Dayanand Saraswati talked about going back to the Vedas, and when Raja Ram Mohan Roy also says that our culture is not bad, we just need some reform. So as Charita is saying, G20 vision, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a part of which Upanishad? Charita and others. And Bengali is this Bengali, B-N-G-L-E-E, Surendranath Banerjee. Very good. So again, social-religious reform movements brought us closer together, made us realize that yes, there are certain weaknesses in our system, in our, let's say, religion or something, but we can work on it. We don't need outsider or external influence to tell us what to do. Anyway, nobody likes when you tell them what to do. Economic exploitation by the British. There were different books which were written, and here, these things, more important from mains perspective, but there are always fodder which you have to extract, like Theosophical Society. Whenever you're seeing the name Theosophical Society, you have to think about, okay, Blavatsky and Alcott found it in 1875, and then 1882, a branch was established in Adyar, Madras. Similarly, when you're reading about economic exploitation by the British, you have to think about poverty and British rule in India, Dadabhai Naroji, and economic history of India. Umesh, we'll talk about it. So there are different books. Even G. Subramania Iyer, who associated with Hindu, he also talked about economic exploitation. So there are so many things which we have to know. Just like this girl got destroyed by somebody, same way, Dadabhai Naroji and other people. Again, let's not go there. Talked about the economic exploitation or destruction of India by the Britishers. Racial discrimination. When we were talking about 1857 revolt, we have talked about how sepoys till 1820, they were treated equally with European soldiers. But from 1840 onwards, discrimination happened. Higher posts were reserved for them. All these things made us realize that Britishers are very, very insensitive. Lord Lytton, what was the tenure of Lord Lytton? Very good. Mahapanishad, any Besson. So, Lord Lytton, when we have talked about Governor, Governor General, Viceroys, I think 2 lectures back, we have talked about the important Governor, Governor General and Viceroys. Lytton and Ripon, they were 2 of them. Lord Lytton, very bad guy. Lord Ripon, comparatively very good guy based on the policies he enacted. So Lord Lytton, what was his tenure? And we have talked about during his period what happened. Vernacular Press Act 1878 put restrictions. So please understand these points. They will help you in revising the pre-stuff, which is very important. Arms Act was also introduced in the same year 1878. And the major purpose of Arms Act was, they were like, dude, Britishers and Anglo-Indians, you can carry arm, you don't need to have any registration or all those stuff. But Indians, bro, if you have any arms, you need to have a proper license, you need to go there, do these kind of farjiwada. Farjiwada means you need to do 1,000 registration and all those stuff. You can understand the discrimination here. Anglo-Indians and Britishers, if they are carrying arms, they don't need to have any separate document as such. We Indians, if we are carrying any arms, we need to have all those documentations. That means Indians cannot keep arms. Anglo-Indians and Britishers, they can keep arms. So Arms Act was also not liked by us. Either nobody has arms, or if like the Anglo-Indians and Britishers, they don't have any documents, still they're carrying arms, we should also be allowed to carry the arms, bro. We are not saying that we should be like America and we should all have arms, but this act was also a bone of contention among Indians and the Britishers. Do remember it. Most of the people ignore it. UPSC has asked a lot of questions on Arms Act as well. Love from Kerala. Thank you, Kunjungi. Love you as well. Oh my God, what am I doing today? Okay, let's focus here. So, factors promoting the growth of nationalism. We have talked about Ilbert Bill controversy during the period of Lord Ripon. He was one of the better viceroys, 1880 to 84. He wanted Indian and European judges both can try the European people, but there were reaction against it. Again, you can go back to Governor, Governor General and Viceroy lecture. Rise of middle class intelligentsia. When we were talking about socio-religious reform movement, there we have talked about that this was the base, middle class intelligentsia, that was the base for the rise and the spread of socio-religious reform movements. So all these things. Abisa Wonderworld, good evening Abisa. Ripon loved by all. Okay. All is a big word, but yes, loved by most people. Okay, so we have talked about some factors which played a crucial role in growth of nationalism. This is very important from mains perspective. This kind of question comes every 2 years or 3 years, but more so from pre-perspective, you have to extract the fodder. Whenever you are reading about all these names, means, you know, Lytton, Ripon, Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act, you have to revise it, Theosophical Society, you have to revise all those things. Fine. Now let's solve one more question. Like we will do some theory and then when we will get bored by it, we'll solve some question based on what we have read earlier. So this is a question related to subsidiary alliance asked by UPSC in 2018. Nice hairstyle. Oh my God. Do I have a hairstyle? I never comb my hair, Mohit. Good evening, everyone. Let's focus on the question here. You people are focusing on my physical appeal, like, you know, attributes. You are objectifying me. Oh my God, this is so stupid. So which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? A, to maintain a last standing army at others' expense. B, to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. C, to secure a fixed income for the company. I have told you earlier, today's question, PYQs will be little tougher. Don't worry about it. If you solve it here, it will be easier for you to solve these questions or similar kind of questions in exam hall. To establish British paramountcy over the Indian state. So Vastaram, Dark and Charita, they have given the answers. Chepandi, Cheputal, Sule, Dukadu. So subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley, whose tenure was from 1798 to 1805. Basic feature that they wanted to station some army in, you know, princely states. They wanted to keep a tab on what is going on in that princely states, and in return princely states do not have to maintain their own army, because again that is in itself a big task, and they have to give some money to the Britishers because they have sent their army in their territory, you know. And this is another way by which, because this was a period, if you go back and revise what we have done earlier, this was the period when Napoleon was creating havoc in Europe. He had brought Berlin Decree, Milan Decree and all those things, and Britishers were very wary of him. So there are different things. To maintain a last standing army, correct. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger, correct. And to establish British paramountcy over the Indian states, correct. To secure a fixed income for the company, for this they brought permanent settlement. Because permanent settlement, it had a fixed revenue which had to be given to Britishers by the zamindars. So permanent settlement, which was introduced by Cornwallis. So the aim of permanent settlement was to secure a fixed income, not subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance is for something else. So the answer here is C. They are asking not. Sometimes they will make this not bigger, sometimes they will not. So you have to be very aware about it. Many people get it wrong because they don't read the not thing. Okay. So let's come back. Events leading to the formation of Indian National Congress. We have seen the organization. Out of 12 most important organization before INC, the most important organization was the organization formed by Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. Again, we have talked about this. You can go back. Indian Association. So they organized these two sessions, which was a precursor for formation of INC, Indian National Congress. Okay. And again, people are meeting now from different areas. Even when we have talked about Indian Association, they have talked about so many things. You can say that Indian Association of Surendranath Banerjee, it played a crucial role in the emergence of Indian National Congress. Because rather than talking about local or regional issues, which was happening before 1850s, again, if you go back to that lecture, you will realize what I'm saying. After 1850s, people started talking about national issues, and Indian National Association was one of them, or the prominent among them, which actually talked about, reducing, like when Lord Lytton reduced the age from 21 to 19 maximum age, they talked about it. They talked about that we cannot go to London to give ICS exam, please help make it happen in India. All these things they're talking about. And now it was only a matter of time. They're talking about that since they are not confined to local regional issues, they're talking about national issues. So time will come sooner rather than later that a national association will be formed soon. So it will be formed with the support of Britishers. See, if Britishers are ruling the roost, you need some Britishers by your side, and that too, those Britishers who are at higher position. And one of those Britishers was A.O. Hume, Ellen Octavian Hume. Again, tongue twister. So he was a British official. Because he was involved in the formation of Indian National Congress, many people gave the theory of safety valve. That Britishers, they were very, very wary after 1857 revolt. They were like, dude, 1857 revolt happened because we ignored the causes and the grievances of the Indians. So we need to give them some outlet where they can talk about these issues. So that's why this particular Congress, when it was formed in 1885, you have to remember these things. Who was the viceroy when Indian National Congress was formed? Jeena sir, form mein hai aaj syllabus phaad denge. Oh my god. Cool. So let me ask you one question. Indian National Congress, this is an important question. Who was the viceroy of India when Indian National Congress was formed? What is your answer regarding that? As Samrat said, Dufferin, Lord Dufferin, 1884 to 1888. So you will see initially Dufferin is very supportive of it. Very is a big word here. He's supportive of it. But by the later part, by 1889 and the early part of 1890s, things will change. Even his reign is from 1884 to 1888. By 1887-88, his stance will change. He will say that it represents a microscopic minority and these are Brahmin Babus, seditious Babus and all those stuff. So initially somewhat supportive, but later on they will realize that, okay, this Congress is becoming bigger and better and whatever. So he will change his stance. And again, the statement of Lord Dufferin, what he said about Congress, it has already been asked as a PYQ in the form that which viceroy or which governor general said this about Congress. Obviously viceroy, because we are talking about it after 1857. So again, points are written why, which events lead to formation of INC, accumulated dissatisfaction, emergence of educated Indians. You can have a look at it, you can understand it. But now, the important point, 5 British members. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's focus. Nationalist art. Again here, what is the purpose? These things, events leading to formation of INC, more important from mains perspective. What is there from pre-perspective, since this is a prelims crash course? These names. Neel Darpan, you know how important it is. Written by Deen Bandhu Mitra. Bankim Chand Chatterjee wrote Anand Mat. Already a lot of PYQs has been asked on it, so you cannot forget these things. They are also arousing national consciousness. Third part, Bhartendu Harishchand. This is somewhat discarded. Most of the people don't know about him. So as you can see, he's father of modern Hindi rather. And oh my god. And he is also the one who exposed, just like we talk about Dadabhai Naoroji, poverty and un-British rule in India. Just like we talk about other people, G. Subramania Iyer and other people who exposed British drain of wealth. So he also talked about in his books, like there is a book called Andher Nagri, Chaupat Raja. So Andher Nagri, and he talked about it in vernacular languages. He talked about it in Hindi so that more and more people can understand the exploitative policies of Britishers. It's not just about the fact that he's father of modern Hindi. That we have to keep in mind. But at the same time, we also have to understand who is the author of Andher Nagri. The answer is Bhartendu Harishchandra. They can give you these points that he talked about the exploitative policies of Britishers. You'll be saying yes. They can also say that he has such hair, awesome hairstyle. You will say yes, sir. Look at his hair. And now if we grow hair like this, our mother will be after us. That okay. You can always say that Bhartendu Harishchandra, even Lord Ram and all those lords in the old times, they had big hairs, bro. So you can always counter your mother by saying all these things. Okay, let's focus here. Role of political associations prior to INC. We have talked about 12 most important organizations before INC, and they also played a crucial role in the formation of INC. Okay. So INC, Ellen Octavian Hume, he played a crucial role. Lord Dufferin was the viceroy, as Samrat stated, and we have talked about this thing I think 1,000 number of times up until now, that first 4 Congress session from 1885 to 1888. Missed the class. Class is just getting started, Kritika. So 1885 to 1888, 4 people from 4 different religion. 1885, and we have to remember it. 15 most important INC session. There's one video which I have also made, which you can see in like the all Shubham Sagar current affairs videos and everything. We'll talk about them later on also. Let's focus here. So 1885, 1886, 1887, 1888, 1885 Umesh Chand Banerjee, 1886 Dadabhai Naoroji, 1887 Badruddin Tayabji, 1888 George Yule. All 4 people, 4 different religion. That shows our secularism. Do remember it from exam perspective also. They can ask you this. Age 20 years preparing for IFS India के लिए सोच. Okay, cool. Very good, yaar. Very good. Let's focus here. So all these things are important. Lord Dufferin. We have talked about Governor, Governor General, Viceroys. And I have told you there that you don't have to mug up all these Governor, Governor General, Viceroys. You just have to keep a tab that when something important is happening, who is the Governor General or Viceroy? And you have to revise that lecture which we have done. Governor, Governor General, Viceroys. Based on number of PYQs, you will understand which Governor, Governor General or Viceroys are important. Very good. Okay. Like UPSC love Lytton. Like not in the love way. That means they love to ask questions on Lord Lytton, and they love to ask questions related to Lord Lytton and Ripon's tenure. So Ilbert Bill, Vernacular Press Act, Arms Act, everything becomes important. So Indian National Congress here, Bol Bachchan is given, Jibber Jabber is given. It was earlier supposed to be named as Indian National Union. It was supposed to have its first conference not in Bombay but in Pune, but some plague happened. So all these things, keep it in mind. This is important. Which organization was earlier supposed to be known as Indian National Union? The answer is Indian National Congress. Sir, I already told my mom about God Ram here. She replied, he is God and I am just a human, so I should not act like a God. Then tell your ma'am Ishan that there is a theory, Advaita philosophy and Shankaracharya, who says that in each one of us resides the God. We are a part of God. So we should act like God, So you can talk about the Advaita philosophy to your ma'am. She will understand. And tell her the whole thing. Atman, Brahman, individual soul, universal soul. She will be convinced. Or else, you can tell her about me. I will convince her for you. I can do that for you. Don't worry about it. Where is your ma'am currently? Okay. Let's focus. Indian national movement, different phases. We'll talk about it. We have to talk about first phase today. That is 1885 to 1905, moderate phase, where 3 P's are very popular. As you can see here, prayer, petition and protest. And the discontentment against this 3 P's will lead to the rise of extremist phase, where we'll talk about Lal Bal Pal. And not only this. This will also lead to rise of revolutionary extremism, where you will see, so many people getting involved. You will see the emergence of Veer Savarkar in the Maharashtra region. Then in Bengal, Jugantar, etc. will be formed. So all these things we'll talk about in the second phase. Third phase is Gandhian era, where Gandhiji will do his own things, struggle to struggle, STS, pressure, compromise, pressure, PCP. We'll talk about that later on as well. Congress session, and again, this is the thing which is written, that initially, first session attended by 72 delegates, and you will see slowly and gradually, not even slowly and gradually, within few years, their members will increase drastically, and that's why Dufferin who was Duffer, such, okay, with due respect to Lord Dufferin, who was initially somewhat supportive, he will become very skeptical within 2-3 years of formation. Divide and rule British. Abhinav Bharat, as Vastaram is saying. Okay, let's focus. We have talked about Umesh Chandra Banerjee. He contested elections for British House of Commons, but who was the first Indian member who was elected for British House of Commons? We have talked about him. He is here, there, everywhere. What is his name? Chepandis. Chepandis means? Tell me. What was the name of that sir who became the first Indian member like in the British House of Commons? He's a very famous guy. He's the grand old man of India. His name is Dada Bhai Naroji. He became the first Indian member in the British House of Commons. Okay. So safety valve theory, what is the safety valve theory? That Britishers were wary that we don't want another 1857 revolt to happen. So we have to give an outlet. Dada Bhai Naroji, as Ishan is saying, very good here. So we have to give an outlet, not SP Sinavastram, it is Dada Bhai Naroji, first Indian member in House of Commons. As Samrat and Ishan is saying, let's focus here what I was saying. So we are talking about safety wall theory. We have just discussed what is the safety wall. Britishers did not want another 1857 revolt. They want to give Indians a safe outlet where they can address their grievances. Sometimes it is also said, and even like talk about their grievances. Sometimes it is said that you need someone. Sometimes people are like, why should I marry? Why should we marry? What is there? Like everybody, we have come naked, and we have come alone. It's not like until unless you have a twin. We have come alone, we will go alone. It's not like when we will die, somebody else will die with us. Sometimes that happens. That is actually very romantic. But let's not go there. So we have come alone, we'll go alone. Why do we need someone in between? Just for this, to share our grievances, to share our happiness or misery. Because if you don't have anyone to share it with, you'll feel a void. That is what is said about that. I am also single, so I don't know much about it. But you can understand, you need someone to share your grievances. Human or men are social animal. How so much we say that, no, we don't need a companion. We do need a companion. And that maybe has led to something called as companionship. Don't go for that. Focus on true feelings. Until or unless you get your true partner, wait bro, wait. Your time will come. Sir, why should we marry? I don't know the answer of that question. Let's focus here. So again, this whole INC was created as a safety wall so that Indians can share their discontent. Otherwise, that discontent can come in the form of a revolt like it happened earlier in 1857. So this theory was accepted by many people, including Lala Lajpat Roy. And please remember the name of this book of Lala Lajpat Roy, Young India. Same name. Mahatma Gandhi started a journal called Young India. So this word, Young India, these two words are very important. Sometimes they ask about personality, that this personality wrote biography on Mazzini, Garibaldi and this and that. He also wrote a journal or book called Young India, and the same name, somebody started a journal. So you have to remember this name, very important. Young India associated with Lala Lajpat Roy, who believed in the safety wall theory, and because of him, safety wall theory became very popular. But now again, we'll talk about the other part of safety wall theory. So this is what is safety wall theory. This sir here with such beard, irregular beard, is Lord Dufferin. This sir here is A.O. Hume. The more you see these guys, the more you'll be able to remember the names. Safety wall theory, please remember, they can give you this statement. Lala Lajpat Roy, UPSC asks questions on Lala Lajpat Roy, and they will give some attributes of Lala Lajpat Roy, and they will ask you, who is this guy? Lala Lajpat Roy or somebody else? Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das. And safety wall theory, he believed in it, and that's why it became popular. Humans and men are social animal, Aristotle. Yin yang, differing, having good, different. Okay, that's why I'm not getting mad. Okay, you people are doing something else in the comment section. Okay, so safety wall theory, we have talked about what is safety wall theory. We know Lala Lajpat Roy believed in it. We know Young India is a journal written by Lala Lajpat Roy. We also know same name, it's a book written by Lala Lajpat Roy, same name, journal started by Gandhiji. So these things, yeah, Hume does not become a president. Hume was the founding member. President, we have talked about 4 important organizations. How much do I dance, bro, in the class? 4 in sessions and 4 different people of different religion. We have talked about it. Safety wall theory, and again, the other counterpoint is Bipin Chandra, another historian, says that no, it is not a safety wall. We were not safety wall. In fact, Britishers did not use us as safety wall. We used Britishers as lightning conductor. And what is the meaning of this whole lightning conductor thing is, the thing is, let's say we did not get the support of A.O. Hume. Then it would have been very difficult for us to operate as a national entity because Britishers are not supporting us. We need some support of the ruling party. That's why ruling coalition or ruling government or whatever you want to call it. Because if you are not getting any support from the ruling party, ruling coalition, ruling entity, then it sometimes becomes very difficult to survive. So maybe, and that's why the other group, the historians like Bipin Chandra, they say that no. We Indians use them. We use AOHUM to address our grievances in the long run. So that is the basic thing. Sir, you have great sense of humor. Zyada din single nahi rahoge, sir. No, I am single by choice, Mohit. It's not like, oh my God, we are going in a dangerous territories, bros. Let's focus on the topic at hand. So INC, here the points are written, what they were trying to do in the initial phases. You can have a look at it. We are focused on the more important parts. We are focused on the PYQs. We will focus right now on the moderate phase as well. Okay, so let's solve this particular question. Don't worry about it if you have not seen this fact earlier. Try to eliminate option based on whatever you have studied. Whatever you know about Wellesley, his tenure, what could be the answer? Try to think. Life classes are actually fun. So Dark has given the answer. Dark and Samrat. And Vastram. So Wellesley, Lord Wellesley. Now, based on these PYQs, you also realize again, Lord Wellesley is also important Governor General. You know, his tenure 1798 to 1805. So be on the lookout for anything related to Lord Wellesley. If UPSC is asking any question, here they are not asking directly about Wellesley, but since they have mentioned Wellesley, this means that particular point means that Lord Wellesley is important from exam perspective. So he established Fort William College at Calcutta because he wanted to train British civilians for administrative purpose in India, and he wanted them to know about India's culture. Like when you will become a crack UPSC, you will go to Masuri and maybe for like what maybe you will go for Margdarshan so that you can understand India in a much better manner. So that was major cause why this Fort William College was established, and maybe that was the reason why when Gandhiji returned to India, his political guru Gopal Krishna Gokhale told him that, bro, don't directly jump into national politics, go and visit India, understand this whole thing. Even there is a guy, his name is Pankaj Tripathi, very good actor, he was there in Stree. Okay, let's focus, bros. So Stree 2, Pankaj Tripathi, very good actor and very humble guy also. At least he seems like a very humble guy, and I think he is. So let's focus. He says that, and he told that you don't need many, like lots of money if you want to travel India, and you can do it and like go to cheap hotels and all these dormitories and everything, but travel India. So do it whenever you get time. I'm saying this, preaching this to you. I'm not getting time, but again, in my teaching career, I have spent a lot of time here, there and everywhere. So maybe I have traveled a lot indirectly or directly, but yes, do that. So he wanted to train British civilians for administrative purpose. That was the purpose for establishing Fort William College in Calcutta. Very good. Moderate phase 1885 to 1905. Most of these leaders which you are talking about, or which you know, Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji, or any guy you talk about, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, G. Subramania Iyer of Hindu, most of these guys are moderates. Extremists, later on you will see, you can count them on your hands, the important extremist leaders, Lala Lajpat Roy, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, or Aurobindo Ghosh, or all these other guys. Labasna. Okay. Bros, you people are so interested in the single and mingle thing. Okay. So moderate phase 1885 to 1905, we have seen these guys, Dadabhai Naoroji, who is Yatra Tatra Sarvat, that means he is omnipresent. So 3P, prayer, petition and protest. But was this particular phase a complete failure? No, we have talked about it. And what were the achievements of moderate phase? We talk about 1892 in Council Act, and indirect election was introduced. We talk about how representations were increasing in the legislative councils and provincial councils. And around 1893, simultaneous civil services exams started happening in London as well as India. So all these and other reasons are also there, other things, other achievements are also there. These are some major achievements of moderate phase. So most of the people feel like it was a complete failure. It was not a complete failure. Anyway, you don't have to write that in exam. You have to always talk about their achievements. You have to balance it out. That okay, the achievements, like if you have to talk about the limitations, you will say that how we did not get the direct election thing. That will happen later on in 1919. So everything took their their own sweet time. Plus, they did something which according to extremists was political mendicancy. Political mendicancy. You have to remember these words. They will give you this directly in pre, that according to extremists, whatever moderate leaders were doing was political mendicancy. In simple terms, this is bheek mangna. That means we are begging for our rights. If it is our right, why should we beg bro? That is ours, so we need it and we should demand it. So again, that's what extremists believed in, that these guys did. Okay, let's talk about it. So period of Tea Party politics or political mendicancy, which we were discussing earlier. Many people believe that, bro, you are meeting for 2-3 days in December or whatever month you are choosing at different places, and this is one of the points which you have to keep in mind. Generally, let's say if in Bombay or Bombay presidency, INCs are meeting, then the president will not be of that particular presidency. That was the norm. It was violated in mid-1930s when I think Indian National Congress session happened in Allahabad and Jawaharlal Nehru became the president. But that is an exception. Generally, in whatever presidencies the session will happen, president will not be of that particular presidency. That was the norm. Do keep it in mind. So many people believe that you went for, or it was just like a holiday for you. 2-3 days, people from different region are coming, you're meeting, and maybe some other things are all again. So this is just a gossip session, bro. You're just gossiping. You're not doing anything like worthy enough to talk about. So this is one of the criticism of moderate phase. But again, we have talked about their achievement as well. 3 P's, prayer, petition, protest, you are doing that. You have to take things in your own hand. This prayer, petition, protest will not work. This is not the way to go. And moderates also believe that, okay, Britishers are not bad. Maybe they don't know about our actual condition. So we should do things which let them know what is our present condition, but that is not the actual truth. So these are some facts. Oh my god, what is happening in the comment section? We should give, they were like, yeah. Yes, exactly, as Kritika is saying. Somebody, okay. So, Dadabhai Naoroji became a British MP in 1890s. This is an important point. Who was the first Indian member in British House of Commons? Dadabhai Naoroji. Who else? He became the President of Congress 3 times. He started a journal called Rast Goftar. He is associated with so many things. Please don't forget Dadabhai Naoroji. Okay. Then what else? Method of the works. Again, here we are talking about INC. They started a weekly journal called India. And that is one thing which most of the people don't know about. They wanted to establish their own, things. They wanted to establish a England or English version, or London. In London, they wanted to establish a branch, but as we have discussed, by 1887, 1888, Britishers realized what they had done. Maybe if it was a safety valve for them, it backfired on them because it was becoming bigger and better, and they were doing things which Britishers did not think initially, according to scholars, that they would be able to do. So they were becoming bigger, they were expanding in different areas, and Britishers started hating it, which you will see later on. So demands, what were the demands of moderate phase? Again, more representation in Legislative Council, Executive Council. Executive Council, it will not happen. First representation will happen in 1909, SP Sinha, as you people were talking about in the comment section. But Legislative Council expansion will happen both at the central and provincial level. All these things, competition, civil services exams happening both in India and London at the same time, that also happened. All these things they talk about, like Indian Association, they talked about increasing the maximum age, which was reduced to 19. So that was done later on, and these are some of the achievements. So again, moderate phase demands can be divided into pestle, political, economic, social, blah blah blah. So political demands, expansion of Legislative Council, we have talked about it, formation of provincial councils. So all these things will be adhered to, and that's why when we were talking about acts 1892, 1909, 1990, 1935, there we have seen in provincial councils members are increasing, non-official member, this member, ex-officio members. So all these things are achievements of the moderate phase of the Congress. It's not a complete failure as many people assume it to be. So again, more opportunities for Indians in civil services, simultaneous exam for ICS in London and in India. It's not possible for everyone to go to London and give the exam. End of aggressive foreign policy. This is an interesting point. See, understand one thing. You have to revise certain things. This is the homework for you. You have to trace Anglo-Afghan war, Anglo-Burmese war. So they were fighting with Burma, they were fighting with Afghans. Nobody has ever won against Afghan. So they're like, dude, you are wasting a lot of money of ours in these things. This India Council, which was created after 1858 Queen's Proclamation, Secretary of State and 15-member India Council to assist Secretary of State. This is just a pure wastage of money. What you people have done? What is your achievement? Tell me, I want to count it on my fingers. And they were like, dude, we don't have anything for you. So all these things has to be abolished, which has no use for us. This is nothing but Drain of wealth. You are just taking out money. 15 members, you are paying them, and what we are getting in return? Nothing. So abolition of India Council, end of aggressive foreign policies. Don't fight against Afghanistan, Burma. If you're fighting against them, use your own money and bring your money from London. Don't use our money, bro. This is drain of wealth. Economic demands, end of economic drain. Remember the names of the book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, Dadabhai Naoroji. Okay. And again, a reduction of land revenue, abolition of salt tax, which will be the fulcrum around which civil disobedience movement will revolve. Gandhiji will make this salt tax as the the common point for civil disobedience movement. Why salt tax? Because salt is a commodity used by all of us, and salt, if like salt tax is very inhuman. Very rarely in different countries you will see salt tax being imposed, and that was a considerable chunk of British revenue. And Gandhiji also felt that if he raises this particular issue, it will not invoke the sentiment or hurt the sentiments of either Hindus or Muslims. So there are multiple reasons why. And this is an important question from both pre and mains perspective. Why Gandhiji chose the salt tax as the fulcrum around which civil disobedience movement revolved. Extremist demands are fulfilled. Dandi March. Extremists actually are my favorite. Very good. You people are very good talkers. So economic demands, encouragement to modern industry. At that time also, when you will see and when you will go deeper and when we will discuss about from mains perspective, you will see so many industries are being set up. But Britishers are the one who are setting up these industries. Indian industries are far wide and few. So they are like, dude, don't do that. You are setting your industry, you are doing your own purpose. You are making stuff which you want to make. You are not taking into consideration what we Indians want. So don't do that. It is leading to marginalization of Indian industry. You have made a monopoly in certain areas where your own industry will be set up, and you are giving us those areas where it's not very profitable for us to venture into industrial or make some industries on that region. I will give you some example. Let's say opium or some other things. Opium was a very profitable venture. If you read NCERT, you will realize that whatever profitable ventures were there, most of them Britishers, they made a monopoly out of it, that our industries will be set up in these domains. You cannot set up industries in these domains. And later on, when heavy industries were developed, Tata Iron and Steel, all these things came very, very late. So these moderates, they were like, dude, let us set our indigenous industries, bro. What you people are doing. Used by all sections irrespective of caste, religion, salt, exactly. So development of agricultural banks, again there is a homework for you. These things are very common. We still demand these things in different regions. Extension of irrigation facility. Agricultural bank, so there is a bank called NABARD, which is a reinsurance agency as well, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, established in 1980s. Read about NABARD. What is a reinsurance agency? What is a refinance agency? This is actually a refinance agency. So what is the difference between a refinance and reinsurance agencies? So history and economy are merging here. Okay. Military demand, repeal of Arms Act. During the period of which particular viceroy Arms Act was introduced? Sir, can we say that moderates and extremists are like yin and yang in a way that they balance each other and help each other grow politically? Yin and yang, don't ever write it in exam. You can say this point, that they balance each other and help each other grow politically for a prosperous and effective approach. That is actually a very good way of framing your, you have framed your sentence in a very coherent manner, Ishan. But yes, yin and yang, you can avoid that. NABARD, RRB, very good. So this particular Arms Act was passed during the tenure of which particular viceroy? Chepandis. So Arms Act was introduced during the tenure of Lord Lytton, so 1878. Reduction of military expenditure, you can understand what they are saying. More Indians should be in the army, as we have discussed. After 1857 revolt, Britishers, what they have done, they have reduced Indians in the army. They have increased the number of European officers. You can understand why. They have created martial and non-martial races. This we have discussed when we were talking about governor, governor general and viceroys and post 1857 scenario. So we were like, dude, don't do that. Whatever has been done by creating and segregating like martial and non-martial races. We are understanding what you are doing. You are trying to reduce the portion in the army because they were the ones who played a crucial role in the 1857 revolt. Don't do that. Appoint more and more Indians also at the higher post. Okay. Social demands, more expenditure on, again you can see all these things, freedom of speech and expression, improvement in the condition of plantation laborers. Many of these laborers, you can even see them right now in Fiji, Suriname. So these guys, they were taken from India to those regions Even in Caribbean islands, Shiv Narayan Chandrapal, there is a West Indies batsman with a very unique stance. He is also one of these, or one of the descendant of these plantation laborers, if I'm not wrong. He is from Indian, has an Indian descent, if I'm not wrong, and that is actually true. But yes, plantation laborers, they went to Fiji, Suriname, Caribbean islands, and they were living in very inhospitable conditions, and we were concerned about that. NABARD, RRB, okay. So British reaction to Congress, as we have discussed, initially they were like, okay, but within 2-3 years, the things changed. Disloyal Babus, they were given these names. Please remember this one. UPSC has already asked a question. Who said that Congress only represented a microscopic minority? Who else then? Dufferin. So Dufferin again becomes important. If UPSC asks questions on any Viceroy, etc., or Governor General or governors, they become important from exam perspective. So this has already been asked by UPSC. And then they are trying to counter Indian National Congress. It was formed in 1885. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, when we are talking about socio-religious reform movement, there we have discussed that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Aligarh movement, he is a very contrasting personality. And in a way, we all are contrasting in our own way. Maybe currently we have a certain opinion. Maybe 20 years down the line, our opinion will change. Similar kind of thing happened with Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. If you see Bharat Ek Khoj, you will realize that this guy was promoter of Hindu-Muslim unity during 1857 revolt or just after it. But by 1888, he had become very communal. And he, along with Raja Shiv Prasad of Banaras, they started United India Patriotic Association, or Britishers gave them patronage to establish this United India Patriotic Association to counter Indian National Congress. So do remember this United India Patriotic Association. When was it formed? 1888. Who were involved? Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Raja Shiv Prasad of Banaras. What was their main motive? To counter Congress. Cool. And you can see what they are trying to do. So slowly and gradually, Britishers are realizing that Congress, we have to be very mindful of them and we have to keep them in check. He has helped British, as Charita is saying. Very good. Achievements of the moderates. What are the achievements of the moderates? Again, 1892 Act, increased representation in councils, be it provincial councils or legislative councils, simultaneous exams which happened in India and Britain, like of civil services. Then there was a Welby Commission which was established. And again, this is important from exam perspective. You read about Hunter Commission, I am a hunter. There is a song also in Gangs of Wasipur, which is I am a hunter. Again, let's not go there. So Welby Commission, it was established in 1895 based on the continuous, drain of wealth, this and that of the moderate leaders. So Welby Commission, here, like Indian leaders like Dadabhai Naoroji and others, they were of the view that Britishers have exploited us a lot. They have taken away a lot of money from us. So Welby Commission was formed on expenditure. Formed in 1895, submitted their report in 1900, and that is also one of the achievements of the moderates, where they actually, if you read this report, if you read the report of this commission, Dadabhai Naoroji appeared before him, Welby Commission and many other Indian leaders also. So they asked British government that, bro, think very wisely when you are spending money. They are not directly saying that you people are the culprits, spend India and leave India by 1901. They cannot do that, right? But when you read this report, you will realize that they are tacitly accepting that yes, Britishers, you people wasted a lot of money of Indians and you have to be very mindful when you are spending money. So Welby Commission is also one of the achievements of moderates. This is happening during the moderate phase, and this is also important from exam perspective. They can ask you, Welby Commission is associated with what? Health, education, expenditure. So you have to understand this is associated with expenditure. Okay. So achievements, again, that is what is written here, which we have discussed. ICS exam, Indian Council Act, and what else? Demand for Swaraj. This is important. When we will talk about moderate phase or the most important sessions, 1905 to 1907 sessions are very important, because during that period, 1905, partition of Bengal will be announced, Eastern Bengal, Western Bengal, on the basis of religion mainly. They are saying they are doing it. Britishers are saying they are doing it. Lord Curzon is saying he is doing it because of administrative convenience. But the reason is something else entirely. He wants to divide it on the basis of religion, because as we have discussed earlier, it's very easy to divide people on the basis of religion, and divide and rule always works. It has worked earlier also, and in some countries of the world, it is working even right now. So divide and rule policy, and then everybody got united, moderates and extremists. Though in 1907, moderates and extremists will separate on the method of, Swadeshi and boycott movement. We'll talk about it later on. So 1905, Swaraj. First time they're talking about Swaraj. 1906, this is Gopal Krishna Gokhale who will be presiding over it, who is the political guru of Gandhiji. We'll talk about these leaders later on as well. Don't worry about it. 1906, again, Swaraj will be reiterated. So now, some people, they have the guts. Up until now, they were all about Britishers are not bad. We need British government in India because they understand our situations. They are so educated. We just need to make them aware of our situation in here, or what do we actually think. But now they're actually talking about self-government. Swaraj is one such manifestation, and slowly and gradually this Swaraj will change into complete independence by 1929 Lahore session. Lahore, Guru Randhawa, Lagdi Lahore diya. Then there is another guy, Hadi Sandhu, Kudiyan Lahore diya. Do listen to these two songs. You will love Lahore after that. Again, don't tell me that, sir, go to Pakistan, you love Lahore. No, I love songs related to Lahore. So what you people are writing in the comment section? Divide and rule working in India as well, sir, even now. I am not going there. I love my country. There is no divide and rule. So Kritika Pandey well said, using maybe Pandey. You people are, let's focus here. 1906, Dadabhai Naoroji. 1907, there will be someone who is really known as Ras Bihari Ghosh. Surat split will happen. We'll talk about this later on. So again, this is one achievement. Now, at least we are talking about Swaraj, self-government. It will take more 42 years to gain independence, but at least we are talking about it. That is actually good. So economic achievements, we expose their drain of wealth theory. Dadabhai Naoroji, R.C. Dutt, Romesh Chandra Dutt, he wrote this book, Economic History of India, where he talked about that Britishers act like sponges. They extract all the good things from Ganga and they pour it in Thames. The sponges, how they work. They will, you put the sponges in the water, they will absorb certain things, and then you pour it or extract the water in some other area. So that's what he talked about. He talked about the sponge theory. R.C. Dutt in his Economic History of India. More than the sponge theory and all these stuff, remember the names. Dadabhai Naoroji, Poverty and British Rule in India. R.C. Dutt, Economic History of India. UPSC has asked questions on this. So, and again, there is very interesting, one particular interesting thing which Dadabhai Naoroji talked about Britishers. And he talked about them in this way, that these Britishers, they act like knife of sugar. They are all very sweet, but they are knife nonetheless. They will cut you, just like this guy is about to cut this guy. So be very wary of these kind of people also, who are like sugary. Oh my God, you're so cute. You will, no. Sugary people are not always the best. Just like Dadabhai Naoroji saying that Britishers are like knife of sugar. We should be very wary of people. Don't trust anyone so easily. Be like very attentive when you are trusting people. Don't trust anyone. Again, you can trust someone. Don't listen to me in that aspect. Trust whoever you want to. Follow your guts. So these books names, these names are very important from exam perspective, sir and ma'am. And Welby Commission, we have just talked about it. 1895, submitted their report in 1900, took their own sweet time of 5 years. That's how government setup works. Oh my God. So, dude, seriously, 5 years. And then tacitly they accepted that yes, Britishers are exploiting us. They have exploited us for a very long. Somebody is going really. Okay, it's fine, bros. You people are. Today's chat session is very interesting. So, Welby Commission, we have discussed about it. You can read it. So again, constitutional agitation, you can have a look at all these things. We have talked about it. They are just thinking that Britishers are not bad. We have to make them understand of our situation, blah, blah, blah. And you can read it. We have talked about the important points related to moderate phase, their success, their limitations. Let's solve some questions, revise these things. I have told you what are the words which you have to focus on. If you talk about, there are different words, Theosophical Society, etc., Welby Commission, be on the lookout for these words and solve these PYQs as many as possible. So what is the answer of this particular question? Swaraj, great thing ever from our ancestors. Okay, so which one of the following movements has contributed to a split in the Indian National Congress, resulting in the emergence of moderates and extremists? 2015. A. Swadeshi movement, B. Quit India movement, C. Non-cooperation movement, D. Civil disobedience movement. Vastaram has given the answer. So split, we'll talk about this particular split which will happen in 1907, that will be known as Surat split. And during that time, the president was Rash Bihari Ghosh. There will be another guy called Ras Bihari Bose. They are different personalities, and Surat split will happen based on Swadeshi. Again, we have not talked about these things. So this is a question, even if you're not getting the answer right, don't worry about it. Based on the method of Swadeshi and boycott, whether it should be confined to Bengal, we are talking about Bengal partition here, or it should be spread to other areas as well. Extremist leaders were like, we have to spread this thing, Swadeshi and boycott, to other areas. Moderates were like, no, we should confine ourselves to Bengal region. And other disputes and differences were also there. So, Swadeshi movement is the answer here in this particular question, as stated by Vastram, Dar, Samrat, Charita, Gagan and Kritika. Yes, fun is good with study, and that's why you should join my Telegram channel, Fun Study with Shubh. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Swadeshi movement. So again, that's it for today, sir and ma'am. Revise all these stuff. This is lecture 41. Materials are piling on for you. You have to revise your content. You have to solve PYQs. You have to solve mocks. One question which I witness a lot here, there, mails and everywhere, even on my social medias. Sir, apart from your crash, what else we have to read? You don't have to read anything. You don't have to read any source. Just revise these source multiple times. Solve as many PYQs also we are covering. Questions also we are covering. But if you want to do something else, apart from this, when we are talking about history right now, solve mocks, solve sectional or full length mocks, nothing else. Please don't read anything more. You won't be able to remember any stuff. You will forget even this stuff and whatever new you are reading. This is not the time to read anything new. Just revise whatever you have studied earlier. Thik ashe? That means okay. March morning batch. Again, if you have any sibling, cute daughters, or you won't have daughters, you are anyway very small. So, friend or someone who is preparing for 2026, you can tell them to join our March morning batch starting from today, 8 a.m. Prelims and Mains Residential Program. If you're a monthly top performer, or if you become a monthly top performer, or your sibling become a monthly top performer, they will get 11,000 rupees. Full refund if he clears 2026 prelims. And this is also including IGP, Interview Guidance Program, because this is P2I prelims to interview sir and ma'am. So that's it from me, sir and ma'am. Thank you, Mohit. I am a fan of all of you as well. You people are awesome. Hello, Adil. And thank you, Samrat. Good night. Yes, different subject like Mishra sir has started polity. He'll be starting art and culture also. So all these things will be covered. Don't worry about it. Just follow one single source and revise multiple times. Thik ashe? Practice corbo. Very good. Thik ashe means okay. So please revise all these stuff. I will see you people tomorrow then. Take care. Be blessed. Tata. Bye bye.